What's up, Orland family? This is Counselor Briggs, by the way, from the high school. This video is going to be a little bit different than some of the other videos I've been posting. I've been posting a lot of social emotional lessons and things along those lines. However, I wanted to post a video really quick about a game that y'all can play at home. Great way to pass the time, stay connected with family. The game is called Mexican Train. I have no clue where that name came from. I don't know. I've been playing this game since I was a little kid. For a while, there was a what is this? Cardinals put out a set. Basically, it's a domino game. So, Mexican Train. Right. Honestly, it says ages 8 and up, 2 to 8 players. You can do that. I wouldn't play with less than 3 people. I'd say that would probably be the minimum. I guess you could play with 2, but you get kind of old kind of fast. So the more people, the better. In my opinion, the more cutthroat it gets. Basically, you're going to start out with a set of dominoes and then some markers. You want to play with double 12 or higher. With double 12, a double 12 set. Okay. At our house, if we get a lot of people that come over, we actually have like 3 or 4 sets of dominoes that we will put together, and we'll get a game with. I think we've had up to 20 people playing it at once, all in the same game and stuff, and it's good stuff. Good stuff. It's kind of like Uno and Monopoly in that it will ruin families and relationships and friendships because it gets that cutthroat. Okay, so let me turn this around, and if the video quality is not fantastic, I'm sorry. I'm walking around trying to show it all, and I think I set this up right to be able to do a good video for this. Okay, all right, so this is how you kind of set up Mexican Train. Our set came with this nifty little railroad thing. Used to make sounds. You don't have to have that. All you really need is the double 12 to start out. There's stuff all over our dominoes. Anyway, so you need your double 12 domino set, and then markers. You can use coins, you can use paper clips, whatever. Our set came with little trains. Now you can order Mexican Train sets on Amazon, or a lot of places like Target usually have it if you go back into the board game section. But okay, so you always start out with double 12. Now each game or each round starts with the double whatever. So the first round is going to be double 12. The next one will be double 11, double 10, double 9, whatever, all the way down till double blank. Okay. So this is the Mexican Train-ish, if you will. Just hang on to that. So basically, you pull out the double 12. You're going to put all the dominoes face down, mix them all up. Then each player is going to pull out 10 dominoes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 there, 10, 10, and 10. Okay? Now, the reason I set them up in this style where there's like a run like that, and you got the same thing here all the way around. I'm going to play as all the players. The reason why is because your goal in this game is to create like a train or like a train track. So I set mine up like this with the thought that if the middle is double 12, I want to create a train. So 12, and then see it's a 12 and an 8. So the next domino is an 8 and a 10, and so on. So 12. So they all kind of end up connecting. So that's how I generally set mine up. You can set yours up however the heck you want. That's just what I do to try to keep myself organized. If any of you guys know who I am and know about me, I am kind of retentive about that kind of stuff and trying to be organized as best as possible, especially when it comes to playing games. That's why I do rather well when I play games most of the time, unless I'm really just not paying a lot of attention. All right, so the first move in domino or in Mexican Train, you have all your people sitting around. First person goes. Okay, so on the very first move, you can build you can build out your train, but you cannot play all 10 of your dominoes. So let's just pretend that all of my dominoes ended up making a one long train. You cannot lay down all 10 and be like, I win, haha. So what you do is on your first turn, each person's individual first turn, you lay down your train. You can arrange your dominoes however the heck you want. I do this because it seems to save the most space, and when this game really gets cooking, you'll need to have as much room as possible. Alright, so that's as far as my train will go. Now if you'll notice, I did have some other 6s here, so I could have played like this, called it good, like this, called it good, like this, called it good, whatever. Now I did this because my goal is to get rid of as many dominoes as I possibly can in one fell swoop. Now I'm sure I could have done this differently to use up more of my dominoes, but I just threw this together really quick. Now the thought with this is whoever ends up using up all of their dominoes first, they win, and then from that point everybody else gets to go around and do their final turn. Now whatever you have left are how many points you get, and you do not want points. So for example, this is a blank, this is a 12, so this domino is worth 12 points. This domino has a 2 and a 6, that's 8 points. 6 and 4, 10 points. So you add all that up, that equals 30, right? Do our math. I think it's 30. 10, 12 is 24, 25, 26, I'm sorry, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so that was my first turn. Huzzah. Then you go clockwise. Okay, so on this train, as you'll notice, or this person, as you'll notice, they have 2 dominoes that have a 12 on them. Now, if the person was to play this domino, they could put it down, but that's as many dominoes as they could possibly use. They're only getting rid of that extra 6 points when they have all these other points sitting here. So what I would recommend, and you, like I said, play this how you want, or it's your train. So this is how I would be playing my train to try to use up as many dominoes as possible. Now I could do, actually it's what I'm going to do, is this. I'm going to change this out, so instead of only getting to play that one, I'm going to put this entire line down. So while it's your turn, on the first go, it's your turn. You do what you need to do, okay? So, as you can see, I used up a lot of dominoes. Hooray. So, on the first turn. Now, everybody else is going to get to go. However, there's a special circumstance, or a special situation. Doubles, okay? So, this is a double 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on both ends. Now, when you have a double, you have to cover it. So what that means is that you have to put the next piece on here that completes this. This can't be open-ended like this. So you got to try and cover that. So what happens is, if there's a double that needs to be covered, as you can see, I don't have something. I cannot cover that domino or that double 7. So come over here to the bone pile. You're going to have bone piles spread out, okay, of whatever's left. Now, if you can't cover it, you lift up a domino. Okay, so I got a double 5. I cannot cover it. So it just goes in my stack. And oh, I didn't leave a little train for this guy. Okay, so then your train goes up. Okay, that means if you cannot play on yours or anybody else's trains, you put your train up. Even after drawing, if you can't play, you put the train up on yours. Okay, but for this situation, we have this double 7 here, okay? Oh no. So, I can't cover it. The next person has to try to cover it. Okay, Mr. Blue Train here. Okay, actually, hang on. Give this guy his little train back. Okay, so, Mr. Blue needs to play, he's got to cover it. So look at that. He can cover it with this or with this. Okay? I don't want to use that piece of cover because then that ruins my train. So this guy is going to go. Boop. Okay, that train is covered. Anybody can play on this 3, okay, if they want, but they can only play 1 domino at a time. Now, with Mr. Blue here, because he covered that evil double 7 on his first turn when he would normally be building his entire train out, because he did that, he does not get to build his train. He'll get to build it on his next time around. That's the only time you can lay down multiple dominoes in this game, is when 1, there's a double that needs to be covered, or 2, when you just covered somebody else's double on your first turn. On your second turn, you get to do your train. So this guy has gone. We're going to move on to the next guy, Mr. Pinky here. Okay, so for this guy, we're going to lay down our train. If you don't have one of these nifty little train depot things, whatever, you just point them toward the center of the table. But if you have one of these, cool. All right, so there. Now, if you'll notice, I had the opportunity, I could have interjected this run of train in here instead of these 3, but in my opinion, these will use up as many points as possible. You do not want dominoes, especially with high points, left at the end of the game. So I did that to try to get them out of my hand. All right, so that's all I can play, and I got to play something. So we'll come over here to Mr. Green. I gotta sit down. Okay, so now Mr. Green's gonna throw his dominoes down. Oh man. Okay, so there's that double. Okay, now I gotta cover it. Oh snap. Look at that, I covered it. Bam, I knocked him over. Oops. Okay, so I went as much as I could. All right, so now at this point, now it's the next person's turn. Now, since it's been my first turn, Mr. Orange has had his first turn. Now, I have one of 2 options as Mr. Orange, or I have a couple things. One, I look around the board to see who has their little train on there. Okay, only Mr. Red has his train on there. So, do I have a 3? Does Orange have a 3? No, Orange does not have a 3. So at this point, I can do one of 2 things, or he can do one of 2 things. I'm so sorry the table is so dirty. He can either draw one from the bone pile, which, just for the sake of conversation. Okay, a double 2, I would not be able to play that. I could not play anything, so I would have to put my train up here. Or, let's pretend I decided not to draw that, you can build the Mexican train. Why it's called that, I have no clue. But you build the Mexican train. There's only 1 Mexican train in the game, or in each round. So, boop. I built the Mexican train. The Mexican train is always available for somebody to play on. Okay? So, I built the Mexican train. Your only other option, I guess, at this point, if you wanted to, is I could have built Mr. Blue's train. I could have started Blue's train for him, but I didn't want to do that. So, I started the Mexican train. So, I'm going to come around. Okay. Can I play? Yes, I can. Because now, okay, so Mr. Red. Now, before there was nothing else that I could have done because of that double 7, but Mr. Blue covered the double 7 with that 3. Now, if you look down here, I have some 3s. I have this 3 0 and 3 9. So what I'm gonna do is, even though, see, that's 2 dominoes worth, right? I can only play 1 because I've already built my long train and got to lay down multiple tiles. So since I played on mine, I take this off. So that train is no longer available for other people to build on. Okay. Now, Mr. Blue. Because he had to cover Mr. Red's double over there, this is the only time when not on the first turn you get to lay down a bunch of dominoes. So he's going to get to lay down his train. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Cool. Looks good. All right. Coming over here to Mr. Pink. Okay. So for Mr. Pinky Pink here, if we notice, the only trains available are the Mexican train and Mr. Pink's train. Can Mr. Pink play on his own train? No, he cannot. Okay. Now, can Mr. Pink play on the Mexican train, which is the blank? Yes, he can play. So he plays on here. I'll do that. Okay. Now it's Green's turn. And eventually I'm going to hit an issue, and that's what I'm trying to get to, an issue to talk through. Okay. So, at this point, can Mr. Green play on his train? No. There are no sevens or pinks or whatever. But I do have this double. So, this double does work on the Mexican train. So, go there. However, can I cover it? No. So I got to pick one up from the bone pile, please. Okay. So although this can go with this guy, I have not covered it. So Mr. Green has to put his train on. His train is now available for other people to play on once the Mexican train double 8 has been covered. So orange comes around. Okay. Can orange cover it with what he has? No. There's that double 2 again. Okay, does that work on that double 8? It does not. So it goes on there. He's got to put his train on. Now, once that double 8 has been covered, this is available for other people to play on. Mr. Red. Can Mr. Red cover it? No, he does not have an 8 to cover. So he's going to draw a domino. All right, that cannot cover it. So it's going to sit there. His train is now on his train, or his railroad, whatever. Okay, can Mr. Blue cover it? Do I have a double 8 or an 8? No. So, reach over, draw one from the bone pile. Nope, can't cover it. But for later on, I do have that available. So, I can't cover it, so the train goes on. Later on, this will be available for other people to play on. Now, Pink. Okay, now Mr. Pink has that double 8. Or he's got the 8 there. Okay, couple different things it could do. He can pull one from the bone pile in hopes to not mess that up, but that is inviting more points into your hand. So, then what I would recommend is, okay, which of these two are you going to use? Okay, now, a little bit of thought process here. Okay. This 8, 9, 10, 11 points. So if the game suddenly ended, this is worth 11 points. This is worth 13 points. So thought process 1, I want to get rid of the most points I possibly can so I don't have them at the end. Other thought is, if you play this guy, these two can still sort of connect because of the 3. I'd like to keep those together to try to hang on to them so that if I have an opportunity, I can play both of them, or like on one long train. So Pink is going to use his 8 and 5 to cover this double 8 over here. Ta-da! Okay, cool. So that was Pink's turn, but nobody can play on this from now on, or until the little pink train goes on our marker. Okay? So at this point, these are Mr. Green's options. He can play on this because it has a train. He can orange. He can play on the pink or purple Mexican train. He can play on this red guy. He can play on this blue guy, and those are his options. So if I look here, do I have any blanks? No. Do I have any 6s available for me to play on? No. Do I have any 4s? No. Do I have any 1s? No. But, aha, I have that 10. So going with the same principle as before, over here with Mr. Pink, where it was the 3 and the 8 versus the 5 and the 8, which one is going to take away more points or get more points out of my hand? Correct, with the 4. So this guy, he's going to play over here. Okay, now at this point, Mr. Green's train stays on because Mr. Green did not play on his own railroad. So now we're moving on to Mr. Orange. It's Orange's turn. Now, if you'll notice, I have a lot of options as Mr. Orange. I can play on my own. I can play on the Mexican, the red, the blue, or the green. Now, if you'll notice, 4, 4. So, Mr. Orange is going to play on his own railroad, which takes away his train. So now nobody else can play on this train for right now. Mexican doesn't get a turn. The Mexican train doesn't get a turn. It's just there as an option for people to play on. So, Mr. Red. Can Mr. Red play on his own? Or what are his options? He's got his own with the 9, the 8 for blue, nothing over there for pink. He's got 7 on green, or 5 on the Mexican. So, what are his options? Well, since Mr. Red can play on either his own or on the Mexican with the double 5, 10 points, 10 points. What is somebody going to do? What's a boy to do? I would recommend playing this 1 and 9 on my own train for a couple of different reasons. 1, it's the same number of points. 2, it gets my train down, or it gets Red's train down. And if I play this, or if Mr. Red plays the double 5 on the Mexican, he has to cover it, but he doesn't have anything to cover it. Now, he can play and then draw a domino from the bone pile, but what if he picks up a really high point domino? Then he's stuck with those extra points. Okay, so Mr. Red is going to play his 9 and 1 on his own railroad, take his train off. That's now off limits. He can do that, or another option that was also available, which looking back now I probably would have done, is this 4 and 7. He could have played over on greens. Okay, now to go along with that, actually let's just take this down really quick. Put this back. Okay, if I wanted to, I could play this 7-4 over here on green. Now, just because I did that, green does not get to take his train down until it's his turn and he plays on his own train. Actually, let's just do that for the sake of conversation. Okay, so now it's blue's turn. Can blue play on his own? No, but can blue play? That's blue's train. No, but can he play on something else on the board? Yes, he can. He can play over on green's 4. So, boop. Now, although blue played on another train, because he did not play on his own train, his marker stays. Or his own railroad, his marker stays. Pink. Can pink play on anything? He can. He cannot play on his own, but he can play the 3 on greens or the 8 on blues. In fact, he's got 2 options. He's got all kinds of options. Now, at this point, you kind of have to decide, what do you want to do? What do you think is going to be the easiest to get rid of? I think it would be prudent to play this 11 and 3 because that's 11. That's more points. 3 more points than this 8 would be. So, pink is going to play on green. Now, even though I did not play on my own train, or pink did not play on his own train, he did play. So, his train marker stays off. Pink's down to 1. Can green play? No. So, there's no 1s available. There are no 10s available, no 6s, no blanks. So, green draws a tile from the boneyard. He's got that 4 and the 1. Nothing. He's got nothing, so his train stays on. Now, orange. Can orange play? Yes, orange can play on his own. Boop. Okay, orange train stays off. red. I swear this game's almost over. So, red has this 9 and 10, or 1. Nobody played on it, so he plays on his own. Train comes down. Nobody can build on that until the train goes back up on there, or the marker, whatever you use, if you pennies or coins or whatever. Mr. Blue, can Mr. Blue play? Yes, he can play. He can play his 5-3 on the Mexicans' 5, or he can play his 11-2 on Mr. Green. Okay, 11 plus 2 is 13. 11 plus 2 is 13. 5 plus 3 is 8. Now, he's going to play. Blue wants to play over on green because that gets more points out of his hand. Boop. Okay, that's blue. Pink. What can pink do? Can pink play on anything? Yes. Pink can play. He's got this 8-3. He can play on blue's 8. Alright, so pink has officially just won the game. Now, pink's score is going to be 0, but everybody else gets to go one last time. So green, can you do anything? Nah. Nope. Green is stuck with this. Okay, so leave those for right now. Orange, can orange do anything? Technically, he can. He can play his 2-2 on his own or on greens. Now, he can play, but he can't cover it. So he would have to draw another one. Can he cover it? No. So now he just played 2, or he just laid down 4 points, but he picked up 9. Okay? So you have to kind of weigh the odds. You know, if I draw, what are the odds I'm going to hit something with a 2? Okay? Also, what are the odds that I'm going to pull something that's worth less than 4 points? As you can see, there's very little worth less than 4 points. So if I was Mr. Orange, I would just take this and I would just eat it. I would just take the points, the 4 points. That's not bad at all. Mr. Red, can Mr. Red play? Well, he can play that 5 on the Mexicans still. He can play the 3 blank or the 3-0 over here on blue. And that's it. So, because this is worth 5 or 10 points, you could play it and then hope that you pick up either something with a 5 or something less than 10. Let's just roll the dice. We'll say, let's just do this. Pull this guy. Ooh, bad choice. Okay. So his train goes up there. He's in trouble. Okay. Now, this fella, Mr. Blue. Aha. He can and has to cover the 5. It's the end of the game for him. And pink went out, so his score is 0. Mexican train is just kind of, it doesn't count. Nobody cares about the points because there are no points for it. It's nobody's actual train. So this guy, 9, 17. Blue has 17. Green has 10, 22. So 17 for blue, 22 for green, 4 for orange, and oh my goodness, 12, 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, 34. So in this game, pink won with 0, orange was next with 4, 17, I forgot what that score was over there, and what was this, 40, whatever it was. So first, second, third, fourth, loser. So everybody, I hope that you enjoyed learning Mexican train. Feel free to watch this over and over again to learn it. Sorry it was kind of lengthy. I just wanted to kind of go through a full round so that you guys could kind of pick up on what happens with scoring points, and doing scoring and points and gameplay and whatnot. The only other thing to keep in mind is the 0-0, or it's blank on both sides. So it's like this guy, okay? The double blank, although this one's the 0-1, but the 0-0. The 0-0 is worth 50 points. So 5-0. So you want to get rid of that sucker. Okay. Now the way that you finish the game is you play double 12, double 11, double 10, all the way down to double 0. Each round you add up your scores, or the scores. Whoever has the least at the very end is a boss. All right, all. Hope that was entertaining. If you have dominoes, awesome. Play, practice, and when we get back to school, I may bring a set of dominoes to school, and maybe we'll get a little lunchtime Mexican train tournament going. All right, all. Have a good one. Stay safe. Fare thee well.